the Iranians have targeted and killed thousands of my American brothers. That race to a nuclear bomb, President Trump will never allow it. Not now, not ever, not on our watch.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth at the Pentagon with the latest on the military operations in Iran. His department releasing this map just moments ago showing the extensive strikes on the country over the first 10 days. As we take a live look at Beirut, Lebanon, you can see smoke once again filling the skies as the U.S. and Israel ramp up strikes across the Middle East. These particular strikes as a result of an exchange of fire with Hezbollah, which is Iran's proxy in Beirut. NewsNation's Kellie Meyer joining us from Washington with more on the Secretary's comments this morning and what may be ahead here in the next few hours. Kellie.
Yeah, hey there, Marni. So Secretary Hegseth saying that today would be the most intense day of strikes so far, though we don't know exactly when this may come to an end. He said it's ultimately up to President Trump to decide that. Listen to this.
It's not for me to posit whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end. That's his, and he'll continue to communicate that. What we serve him as is we give him updates on a daily basis of exactly where we are so he can make that determination on the throttle.
And Marni, Secretary Hegseth says our will is endless, but the war is not. But President Trump, we've also heard, especially yesterday during that press conference, that he's been giving some mixed signals on exactly when this may come to an end. He said something like, quote, this little excursion would conclude soon. But then he also said the U.S. has won in many ways, but we have not won enough. And that's the big question. But we have continued to see these Pentagon briefings. We saw 3 last week. This is the first of this week to give the American people updates, as you mentioned, as that map showed, what has been struck so far and how the U.S. is doing in this and when the end may be in sight. Marni.
Kellie, what about the potential for U.S. Navy ships to escort those tankers through the strait to get oil moving?
Yeah, and we know that Iran has said that they would continue to block this until the attacks have stopped. We have heard from President Trump and the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying that this could be an option to use U.S. Navy ships to move those tankers through the strait to continue that flowing. We did hear from Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Kane, on this. I wanted to play what he had to say about how this might work.
If tasked to escort, we'll look at the range of options to set the military conditions to be able to do that. And then, like we always do with every potential mission, come to the Secretary and the President with both what are the resources required, what is the command and control required, and what are the risks.
So as far as we know right now, Marni, the President hasn't issued or triggered that option, but we do know that the question over oil prices and the concern really over oil and gas prices is a big deal for the administration. We know President Trump is heading to Kentucky and Ohio tomorrow to bring the focus back to domestic issues and to deliver the message of why we're in this and that the cost would, as he's saying, will soon come down. Marni.
All right, Kellie Meyer from the White House. Kellie, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.